I was asked by a couple friends how I got the name The Miles Method for this musical project, or kind of what's turning into kind of just my lifestyle project. And after I explain the name, you might understand why. I've lost a lot of people to drugs and alcohol, and my Uncle Frank was one of them. And at his funeral, there was a eulogy that his friend gave, and he talked about how my Uncle Frank lived his life like a jazz musician. He told a story about how Wynton Marsalis, there's a phone that went off during his show, and instead of throwing a fit, he just incorporated the ringtone into the song, and ended up being a really cool jam. And he was saying that's how my Uncle Frank lived his life, and it's very true. He just found a way to always land on his feet. And my good friend David McHenry, when I've been through my various bottoms or various disruptive life circumstances, whether due to alcoholism or my PTSD or whatever, he said a universal constant, just like gravity, is that Butch, Booch, whatever he might have called me at the time, a lot of different nicknames, always lands on his feet. So I felt like Uncle Frank, and I've always been really close to Uncle Frank. Um, not as much in his later days, but I've always just felt kind of a kinship with him, almost like he's more my brother than my uncle. And he had Marcellus, so I took Miles Davis. And so this is the Miles method. And throughout my recovery process and getting better, leading up to confirmation, and working through the kinks of religion, despite having gone through PTSD in a religious setting, I've improvised. I've had to experiment with diet, mental health counseling, exercise, different spiritualities, different programs, you name it, I did it. And one of them would work for a little while and stop working, and I'd find something else and that would stop working. And by the end, I've just incorporated all that I've learned and all my bobbing and weaving, my rope-a-dopes, like Muhammad Ali, to make it to a place where PTSD is in remission. I'm comfortable and not obsessive and stressed out about my Catholic faith. It's an open faith where I accept people as they are, with no judgment, and also I think looking up to other people that otherwise would be, like declared in hell, as people who might make it to heaven before I do, because of how big their love is. But overall, that's the Miles method. And so honestly, I think I'm going to make some videos about my experiments with those things. I don't share too many details of my story. Honest to God, it's just too painful. So I try to put it in forms like the music you're hearing, or kind of explain what I underwent through how I navigated those different avenues to find God, and get better, and really truly just find the God that I lost. Well, not lost, maybe just stopped becoming aware of and feeling cut off from during the trauma I endured in a church I grew up in, and kind of just that particular world. And how Catholicism has been healing for me, oddly enough, because I know a lot of people receive similar, if not worse, trauma than I have in the Catholic Church, and understandably so. I guess they've just picked up the pieces and become what they're always intended to be from the beginning. So that'll be coming. That'll be coming, and I'm excited about that. I don't know what the Miles method can even become. A lot of people are doing what I'm doing, and really saturated. So I guess, overall, I just almost hope, I know my family and friends have been watching these videos, that I can just kind of leave behind what I've learned, and they can benefit from it, you can benefit from it, or whoever can benefit from it, realizing that it may never become anything. But I think that's kind of how I live my life, is that I just do what seems right, and I just do what gives me meaning, and a sense of purpose. And this channel is a part of that. So hey, maybe my purpose is to reach 5 or 6 people. As oversaturated as the internet is. So that's what I got. That's the Miles method. I'm gonna play some jazz. even though I can't play it on the guitar. My friend David, who learned guitar with me, took off to astronomical heights with his talent, and I'm stuck playing with a handful of chords, making as many songs as I can out of it. I feel like I'm a good lyricist. I might even recite some poetry because that's where I think my gift of wordsmithing truly shines. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to improvise. We're going to see what this turns into. Life's thrown me a curveball of me doing work that's very meaningful. I work with animals and their excrement too, and that actually pays really good. Despite having a master's in counseling, I'm not counseling. I'm actually finding my way more into fitness and shit scooping and hanging out with dogs. So sometimes cats. It's just a funny life, and this seems to tap into that part of me, that artistic part of me, that wanting to share my story and for lack of better terms, testifying. Kind of arbitrarily when I do it in person, it's too much. I remember too much. So this is a way to kind of have that boundary that this isn't too affected. So here we go. I love you, and that's very true. So this is my morning attire. Yeah. I'm a little bit of a nut, so hang tight. Love you.